Let's take a little trip, shall we? Not in a car, but back in time, into the misty, rolling hills of ancient Wales. We're going to uncover a magical secret, a piece of folklore that's all about one of the world's most beloved dogs. So what if this dog, the Corgi, with its famous short legs and fluffy behind, what if it wasn't just bred, but was actually a gift? A gift from the Fair Folk. That's the enchanting legend we're diving into today, a tale that's woven deep, deep into Welsh mythology. You know, our very first clue has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It's right there in the name. Corgi. In the original Welsh, Corgi literally means dwarf dog. And that's not just a cute description of their size. Nope, it's a direct link to the mythical little people they were said to serve. And that brings us to the most famous part of this whole story. It's a tale that's literally written on their backs, a special marking that tells the story of an ancient and truly magical partnership. Think about it. Have you ever really looked closely at a Corgi's back? There's often a line of fur that's a bit darker, a little thicker than the rest. Well, according to legend, that's no accident. That is the fairy saddle, the exact spot where their tiny fairy riders used to sit. So what exactly were they doing for the fairies? They weren't just sitting around being cute. Oh no. They were valiant steeds in battle, they were tireless heroes herding magical livestock, and they were the noble mounts for all the fairy folk. You could kind of say they were the original all-terrain vehicles of the enchanted world. Just try and picture it for a second. Tiny warriors with little glowing swords riding on the backs of these brave, low-to-the-ground steeds, charging fearlessly into battle to protect their magical home. It's such a powerful and whimsical image, isn't it? Now, the legends say these amazing dogs weren't even originally from our world. They actually crossed over a mystical boundary, brought from the land of the fairies as a very special gift to humankind. And the most heartwarming version of this story is that the fairies would seek out kind children or deserving families and give them a pair of Corgi puppies. And these weren't just pets, they were seen as magical guardians and friends for life, a living, breathing bridge between our two worlds. One of the most famous stories is actually tied to a real person, a well-known Pembroke Corgi breeder named Anne Biddlecombe. As the tale goes, she was walking one day when she stumbled upon a solemn fairy funeral. She saw the Corgis acting as pallbearers, and she was so moved that she befriended the grieving fairies, who then gifted her a pair of their loyal dogs. And this adds a whole other layer to their bond, right? It wasn't all about work and fighting. The fairies trusted the Corgis with their most sacred and sad moments, carrying the spirits of the fair folk on their final journey. That just speaks to an incredibly deep and respectful relationship. So, how did we get from these legendary fairy steeds to the beloved, goofy family pets that we know and love today? Well, it turns out the magical legend is really just the first chapter of their incredible story. And what's really fascinating is how the myth and the reality kind of line up. In the fairy world, they herded magical creatures. Here in our world, their short stature made them perfect for herding cattle. I mean, they could nip at their heels and then duck to avoid getting kicked. The myth and the real job are surprisingly similar. Their journey has just been incredible. They went from mythical steeds in folklore to hardworking cattle dogs by the 10th century. Then there was this huge leap in status in 1933 when they became royal companions, which pretty much catapulted them to their current reign as global internet sensations. Yeah, that was a pivotal moment. Their adoption by royalty, specifically Queen Elizabeth II, completely changed their trajectory. Her lifelong love for the breed made the Corgi an international icon. Those famous photos of her surrounded by her pack of Corgis, they took this little Welsh farm dog and turned it into a symbol of the British monarchy. So we'll leave you with this thought. The legends say the magic never really left them. The next time you see a Corgi trotting by, look closely at that fairy saddle on its back. Are you just going to see a cute dog? Or will you see a noble steed from another realm, maybe with a little bit of fairy dust still left on its coat?